First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash, Gawada Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, for allowing me to do another video through the Spirit. Gawada Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, for giving us His truth as worms. Double honor to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and salutation and blessings to the hopeful elect. And this is going to be a lesson I was meditating on, the beginning, in the beginning, and how it correlates with the time we're in now. And I just asked the chat, I went to, because Elder Yashawamba always mentions this, so I asked the chat, let's go to the chat GPT, and it gave a good answer. It says, I asked the chat, I said, so what's going on, I meant to say, what was going on with the sons of God and the seed of Cain during the time of the flood, and does it correlate with today? And it gives a good answer. Let's read it, and then I'll say what I gotta say. We'll grab some scriptures through the Spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashim Al-Shai, Lord willing, be edifying. It says there are a few major interpretations of this passage, so it is helpful to distinguish between what Bible. Let's see.
Explicitly
says what the Bible explicitly says, and what different traditions infer. So it says in Genesis 6:1-5, the Bible says the sons of God took wives from the daughters of men, and that human wickedness became so great, God determined to judge the earth with the flood. So, dealing with Genesis 6:1-5, when the discussion of the flood really became, prevalent in the scriptures, I'll say. But that the flood really, they were talking about a destruction before even Noah was on the scene. That's why they said they'll be comforted in Noah, because they knew something was going to happen. Enoch prophesied of Yahushai. These righteous men knew that something was going to happen, and then it was revealed unto Noah that it was the flood, that the flood was going to come and start all this shit over. All this shit needed a heavy restart, because there was too much wickedness on the planet Earth. And who was the main culprits of that wickedness? So let's see. It says there's the three, and I'm only going to get one. There's three common interpretations. There's three common interpretations are the Sethite views, common in main Christian traditions. The sons of God were godly descendants of Seth, and that's heavy right there, because that's what it was. This is the sons of God that were, because that's why I said they begat sons and daughters. Even after Seth was born, it said Adam begat sons and daughters. So there was this lineage, a righteous lineage in the earth. But were all of them righteous? No. Not all of them were righteous. They flourished, and wickedness flourished on the earth through them, and through man, and chiefly through the seed line of Cain. Even on Bible Hub, if I can find that little excerpt, Elder Yashawamba brought it out a while ago. I screenshotted it, but it says that wickedness was increasing through the seed line of Cain, and which it was. That's why Cain was mentioned. How it says they made instruments of war. Cain was a heavy influencer of wickedness during the time of the flood. He was a very influential in that destruction with the sons of God. We don't have all that history, but that's just using inference and different books, I believe. Like I mentioned, what they said in Bible Hub. But it says the daughters of men were the descendants of Cain. It doesn't say that, but it could have been. It says, or more broadly, ungodly humanity. It says the problem was the mixing of the righteous line with the wicked line, leading to widespread corruption and abandonment of Yahweh. And we see that today. The intermingling of the righteous seed, the children of Israel, with the seed of the wicked, Esau, Edom, and all the other nations, which we have today. And they have these two other examples, And it's crazy that it's a widely Christian view or tradition, but majority of Christians don't believe that. Majority of Christians believe this second one, which speaks about them being the Nephilim, which is madness. Which is actually, the angelic view, which Evangelicus says held by many ancient Jewish writers, which is not true. Yeah, Jewish, not the true biblical Israelites. That shit is madness. There ain't no Nephilim goes into the fallen because the sons of God fell, going after the daughters of men and the idols and witchcraft that the heathens and the seed line of Cain was into during that time in the beginning. Wickedness was increasing through these two prominent lines who descended from the same man, Adam and Eve. But this is why even to this day, these two are the main at the forefront. Who's always being mentioned in the news? Esau or Jacob? Jacob and Esau will be the main protagonists at the end of the world. Let's get that real quick. Just like back then, who was the main protagonist? The sons of God and the seed line of the wicked. Everything repeats itself. Everything is going in a circle, man. Let's get that. This is 2 Ezra 6 and verse 8. It says, and he said unto me from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob held first the hill of Esau, as it was prophesied, going all the way back to Genesis, I believe the 3rd chapter. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So these are the two main protagonists that will be involved at the end of the world, and we see it. This is why these two are always at the forefront. They're always the talking point. They're always the ones being brought up. Rather, it's Esau trying to accuse Jake or bring up some railing accusation against us before the Heavenly Father, the accuser of our brethren, or if it's Jake coming up against Esau, speaking against all the evil that he's done. These are the two main protagonists in the planet Earth. These will be the two players at the end of the world. So let's jump down. Right here. It says, if you follow the Sethite, Canaanite interpretation, the contrast looks something like this. The contrast being today to the time we're in now, and the yesteryears being all the way back in the flood. So let's read into it a little bit. Hell yeah, there it is. Bet. Y'all brushing me outside. Go to the GNC. But it says, let's get into it a little bit. It says the contrast looks something like this. Seth's descendants were genuinely associated with the worship of Yahweh, Genesis 4 and 26. It says Cain's descendants became known for violence, pride, worldly achievements, without reverence for Yahweh, Genesis 4 and 17 through 24. Over time, the distance between the godly and ungodly disappeared through intermarriage and shared values, meaning that the distance, the separation ended, that they were intermingling with each other, making marriages, getting together, and the sons of God following after the seed line of Cain. This is why, man, we was out running. This is why you have so many Jake sodomite boys. This is why you have so many interracial relationships. And not even that. Esau's philosophy has taken over the world, and Jake takes hold of it. And now look at what has happened to the sons of God. Majority of young so-called black men and Northern Kingdom are sodomites. Why is that? They took the father out the house. They took masculinity away, and now these children are being raised by effeminate, weak women. And look at them. Me and the brother was out running, and all I seen, this is two main things I seen. Jake fucking the white woman, because Jake, hey, sorry, Brad, I know you mad, and Chad, I know you sad. Jake, the so-called Negro man, has taken over the white woman. And then also the second thing is single black women with sodomite children. And whose fault is that? Because you women took hold of Esau, the serpent, kicked the man out of the household, and now look at your children. You took hold of the serpent's philosophy, just as they did back then. And what would eventually happen? Everybody got fucking destroyed. Got kicked out the fucking garden. Got kicked out the garden and was downhill from there, man. It says, violence filled the earth, corruption became universal, and every inkling of the thoughts of human heart was only evil continually. And this is what we have even to this day. Now it says, does this correlate with today? It says many believers so see broad parallels, though not necessary as exact repeat. And it's not as it's not an exact repeat, but it is people following flood-like behavior, which we're gonna get in 1st and 2nd Ezra also. It says, Yahushua Mashiach said in Matthew 24 and 37 and 39, and you can look these scriptures up. It says, as it was, as in the days of Noah, so shall it also be in the coming of the Son of Man. Actually, let me start over. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. People often point to the similarities such as increased violence, moral corruption, people living as though Yahweh will never judge. This is where we're at. This is the world we live in now. It says, marital pursuit taking priorities over righteousness. Actually, let's make sure I'm saying that word right.
Material.
Ooh. Material pursuit taking over priorities over righteousness. Society continue with ordinary life while ignoring the warnings from Yahweh. And you can't, this is literally what we do, going out on the highways and byways, telling these people that you're following after the same way of the people back then. And what do? They ignore. They're ignoring the warning from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And what's going to happen to them? They're going to get caught up in the flood, man. They are. They're going to get caught up in the flood. And the flood this time will be with water and not with, the flood this time will be with fire and not with water. And it's going to be horrible, man. It's going to be a horrible fucking judgment. It's going to be bad. It's going to be ill times for the people that dwell on this planet, man. It's time to change. Time to make a change. Let's get this. 2nd Ezra 3 and verse 5, it says, and gave a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hand, and didst breathe into him the breath of life. That, the seed of Adam, the sons of God, had the righteous way in the earth. It was oral, but they had it. The righteous way has always been in the planet earth. It always been here. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua put it here from the beginning. So the righteous way was given unto Adam, but what? Let's keep going. And he was made living before thee. It says, and thou leddest him into paradise with thy right hand, and he planted before ever the earth came forth. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed. And immediately thou appointed death into him, because we were meant to be immortal, like it says in Wisdom of Solomon. Because where no sin is, there is no death. And in his generation, of whom cometh nations, tribes, people, kindreds, out of number, and every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelled in the world, and destroyed them. And it came to pass in ever of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. It says, nevertheless, one of them thou leftest. This is a righteous line. This is how the righteous line continued in the earth. Namely Noah, with his household, of whom came all righteous men, because the righteous line continued with Noah. But all those wicked back then, they died. They perished. They did not make it. They died off, man. And this is the same thing that we're seeing today. The Lord is leaving a righteous remnant to make it. And it, rather than being 8 souls, is going to be the 144,000, which make it out of this captivity. Let me see if this is it. This is it, actually. This is from the Blue Letter. I'm going to just let it play. I'm going to copy and paste it and let it play. Translate.
Which is very uncertain. They use it only as an illustration. And a higher authority says that the angels neither marry nor are given in marriage. The third, and most generally accepted interpretation in modern times, is that the sons of the Elohim were the Sethites, and that when they married for mere lust of beauty, universal corruption soon ensued. But no modern commentator has shown how such marriages could produce mighty men of renown, or how strong warriors could be the result of the intermarriage of pious men with women of an inferior race, such as the Cainites are assumed to have been. The Jewish interpreters, who well understood the uses of their own.
Yep, so it's pretty much reiterating the same thing, just from the Blue Letter, showing that Jake was intermarrying with these heathens. You know, it was that righteous line intermarrying amongst the wicked, and created wickedness in the planet Earth, and we see that same thing happening once again today. It's happening, man. It's clear as day. And those that can't see it, man, it's just, it's sad. It just says, being the Lord didn't want you to see it. But that's what happened. And the seed line of Cain is heavily mentioned in this, because he was a main protagonist even back then, stirring up evil going throughout the planet Earth. Actually, let's type it in real quick. Let's actually chat one more thing and close it off. It says, if you're asking about the seed line of Cain before the flood, there are a few different interpretations. The Bible itself does not explicitly teach Canaanite bloodline doctrine. It gives you Cain's bloodline, and it gives you a little bit of reference of Cain, not super deep, because the Genesis is a rough draft. It has as much detail as you need to realize what was going on back then. It's not going to have every single detail. but it says, but it does not describe Cain's descendants in contrast with the line of Seth, okay? It says, according to Genesis, Cain murdered his brother Abel and was banished, Genesis 4. Cain built the first city, named after his son Enoch. His descendants became known as developing aspects of civilization. Jabal lived in a tent and raised livestock. It says, Jabal, father, position. Tubal, Cain worked, okay. It says Lamech, one of Cain's descendants, boasted about killing a man and celebrated revenge, showing increased violence. It says the line of Seth, by contrast, is present as the line through which men began to call upon the name of the Lord, the righteous line. Many people hold to the line, seed line interpretation belief. Cain's descendants became increasingly corrupt, violent, worldly. Seth's descendants, the descendants of Seth, were generally faithful to Yahweh. By the time of the flood, the two lines had largely mixed, contributing to widespread wickedness through the interpretation in this debate. So right there. Then this is something I was meditating on, thinking about, because you see it every day. We live it. We see. This is why Esau puts who's on the forefront of who's on the forefront of this nigga music? Who's on the forefront of black culture, Mexican culture? It's you people, and the world follows it. The whole world follows. The whole world knows about Bad Bunny. Everybody. You go to fucking Japan and ask some 21-year-old, Bad Bunny, I love Bad Bunny. Or fucking Elon, bro. They follow after Jake. These are the main two protagonists that will be set up at the end of the world, and it's the same thing happening over again, man. Wickedness increasing through the seed line of Cain and through the sons of fucking God, man. But this time, the sons of God are going to be fucking punished just like they were back then. And so is the seed line of Cain. And the remnant will make it out of here once again through the belief in Yahweh Shai. And we will start over this world under the authority of Yahweh Shai in total righteousness, man. This will never happen again. Wickedness will never spring up. Righteousness is only going to flourish in the earth. This is 2 Ezra 6 and verse 24. Actually, verse 25, it says, and whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation in the end of your world. And it says, and the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth. The heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. So, Lord, well, I hope this lesson is edifying. We give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, with that.